the most powerful person in finance, BlackRock CEO Larry Fink, called Bitcoin digital gold. Does it mean that we're going to see other big players in the industry come on board to provide an ETF, to their customers? We have seen most of them already in the US, but I'm talking about other countries like in Europe, in Asia. Are we going to see these big financial institutions come on board to, provide this opportunity for their customers to be part of Bitcoin or the crypto industry? So today we're going to discuss about that. I have Lore here with me. We always bring you guys amazing stuff going on in the market every Friday. So make sure you are subscribed to my channel, and also make sure you are subscribed to Lore channel on YouTube. I always make sure I put the link there so that you can go and subscribe and follow her on LinkedIn. Also follow her on Telegram. I'm going to try as hard as possible to provide most of those links to you. We also have different short clips that we share on this different platforms that I think might be interesting to you guys. So I'm just gonna bring Lore. Yeah, it's always good to see you. Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I'm good. I've just been kind of looking at more of the market movements this week more than anything, just trying to keep an eye on the way that Bitcoin is going. So obviously, we know a week or so ago, Bitcoin hit the 31K mark. And everyone's very excited about that. We're up 15% from its previous price. However, this week there was a bit of a bloodbath to do with crypto. I don't know if it was because people were putting profits from Bitcoin, obviously moving up 15%, but a lot of altcoins were down earlier this week. However, today we're seeing Bitcoin is actually moving on up a little bit, along with some of the big players such as Ethereum, Polygon, Ripple as well. So Ripple's quite a big one. And interestingly as well, Audi, so ordinals, which is obviously the token for minting Bitcoin ordinals. So that is actually up. What I'm seeing now on the chart is up 8% actually this morning in the last 24 hours. So that's quite interesting. It's very bullish for Bitcoin in terms of market movement. So yeah, so I mean the market, it's nice to see that at the end of the week now, it's kind of recovering from the bloody red charts that we've been seeing like for the majority of the week. Ethereum's actually down today. It's down by 0.3%. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. Sometimes, crypto is very volatile, but sometimes when it goes up, it has to come kind of crashing down as well. But seeing that Bitcoin, the ordinals was up today is very positive news, I think, for Bitcoin. People need to recognize how significant it is to have the CEO of BlackRock endorsing Bitcoin. So they are a $10 trillion investment fund. They've got $10 trillion dollars worth of assets under management. They are the biggest investment firm. So anything that's coming out of their mouth is a huge indication of a market trend. And I think it's just quite funny as well, where not funny, but it's just nice to see as well in a way that actually 6 years ago, back in 2017, one of the biggest news outlets, CNBC, actually had an article saying that BlackRock CEO came out and said that Bitcoin is a laundering index, a money laundering index. Basically saying that because of the nature of Bitcoin, people might be for inconspicuous activities. However, now 2023, coming to 2023 now, 6 years on, you've actually got the CEO saying things such as, it is a hedge against inflation, it's digital gold, and they want to make it more accessible to more investors all around the globe. So actually seeing their shift in their opinion about Bitcoin just shows you that, time after time, doesn't matter what people say about Bitcoin, Bitcoin proves itself to be a valuable store of value, an asset that people can trust in, an asset that in hard times people can go to and put their money in for security. However, it's not necessarily a security. The SEC hasn't yet said that's a security. So, yeah, no, this is absolutely great news for Bitcoin. I think it doesn't always hit mainstream media in a way, finance in particular. However, anyone that's got their eye on crypto, got their eye on Bitcoin, these are very significant news articles for the market. Well, I mean, they're still looking to get their Bitcoin ETF approved. So, I think initially they've had a little bit of backlash with the SEC. I think they had to refile, don't quote me on it, but I think they did actually have to refile recently, but don't quote me on that. It might have been another company. However, they are very adamant that they want to get this Bitcoin ETF through. I think also Gary Gensler, who's obviously been maybe the face of the backlash of Bitcoin, particularly in the US economy. I think he's actually resigned. I think I saw this week or something. I think it's that he's looking to step down as chairman of the SEC. So there's the future of Bitcoin looks bright. So even big corporations like the SEC, who are meant to be protecting investors, guarding assets, and also introducing new assets, they're saying that they've got a chairman that's just basically opposed to crypto completely, and they're saying that this man isn't necessarily adequate for actually helping them to create regulation around Bitcoin. And he's obviously been quite bearish on Bitcoin and crypto. So the fact that these corporations are like, what, we don't want someone that's bearish on crypto, we want someone that's got an open mind and someone that can actually recognize that this Bitcoin is an asset class, is a digital asset that is going to be here in the future. We might not understand it completely right now. However, we need to be able to work with institutions. We need to be able to work with investors to make sure that we're not actually missing out on this inevitable trend, but we're working in ways that actually make it safer for investors. So yeah, I mean, obviously, like I said, BlackRock, they're still waiting for their spot ETF, Bitcoin spot ETF, to go through. I believe they've got up until January 2024 to get the approval from the SEC. However, I think BlackRock, they're quite notorious for getting their bids through. So if they do get their bid through, it's going to be super bullish on Bitcoin, and I'm sure a lot of institutions will follow trend. Obviously, Ethereum is kind of like the sister or the mother of cryptocurrency, whereas Bitcoin is, its own. This is the daddy of crypto. It's really where this whole new stance of digital currency as an asset class has kind of come about. So, yeah, I mean, Bitcoin and Ethereum, they're kind of like two peas in a pod. They do kind of work with each other. And we've seen HSBC, for example, which is Japan's biggest bank, and the world's it's the 20th biggest bank in the world, and they have actually they've just gone straight to it. None of this SEC kind of regulation in business. They've just put out a Bitcoin and Ethereum ETF. So the fact that we're seeing Japan, a huge financial institution in its own right, doing that, I'm sure that at some point they'll follow a trend. However, we can see that the CEO of BlackRock, he's adjusting to the idea, right? He's not like a DJ who's seen crypto and is like, yeah, I'm just gonna go all in. He's been adjusting to it over the years, and I feel like Bitcoin is just that nice starting point to kind of like dip your toes in, before jumping into the full sea of cryptocurrency. So I think there's definitely potential for Ethereum to get a spot ETF at some point. However, we've got to remember that Ethereum, in its own right, has its own kind of ecosystem, has its own standing in cryptocurrency, whereas Bitcoin kind of it kind of makes a bit more sense, I guess, to institutions. The CEO of BlackRock, he's saying that it's digital gold. It's an asset class such as digital gold. It's a store of value. It's something that investors can go in to earn themselves some money, or whatever. So for him, I feel like he understands that aspect of what crypto can be. It can be a store of value. It can be like likened to the digital gold. Whereas Ethereum is obviously more blockchain based. It's more about creating dApps and this kind of thing. So that kind of it moves itself out of like traditional finance in a way, and it kind of takes on its own ecosystem. However, obviously, it takes inspiration from Bitcoin, of course, but I think in terms of dApps and things like that, it kind of takes its own life. So I think once people start to warm up a bit more to Bitcoin and see the potential that it has, they'll start warming up to Ethereum as well. But yeah, I mean, Vitalik, I actually saw a news something on Twitter from Vitalik saying that he's quite bullish on Bitcoin ordinals. He quite likes the idea of ordinals because, of course, it follows a similar protocol to the ERC20 tokens that are native to Ethereum, and that really are kind of like the power force behind Ethereum, being able to make NFTs and things like that. So Vitalik, the creator of Ethereum, he said that ordinals is a way for people to actually build on Bitcoin and actually be able to have more of a utility and things like that. So he's bullish on Bitcoin. He sees that they both work together. Bitcoin is doing well at this point. It helps Ethereum. So I think where obviously ordinals are still quite new. It's and it's doing really well at the moment, pegged next to Bitcoin. So I think as people start to adopt Bitcoin a bit more, and as ordinals starts to take off a little bit more, people start building on that ecosystem, and people start to actually understand what the BRC20 token is, then possibly traditional finance people like CEO of BlackRock, he might be able to start understanding ordinals and then start understanding Ethereum ERC20 tokens as well. So I think it's on the horizon, but step by step.
What do you think is actually the implication of buying Bitcoin right now? What are the implications? Like, what are the advantages and disadvantages of buying Bitcoin right now? What do you think?
Okay, well, I'm super bullish on Bitcoin and crypto in general, so I might be a little bit biased saying this, but I would really say that this is the best time to do it. Like, this is the best time because we're really seeing huge institutions again. While we're talking on the subject, adopting it, they're creating ETFs. And it's proved itself. I think maybe back in 2009 or 2010, or even up to 2017, it was still a bit, people are still quite skeptical about what Bitcoin is. Is it for money laundering? Like, is it you being used in the black market? Like, is it going to go to zero? It was quite, it was still kind of fleeting, and people weren't quite sure of it. However, I feel like it's just had a great track record. It's got 12 years in the game, or if not, no, more than 12 years now. So 13 good solid years in the game of proving itself that it is its own entity, its own asset class, and just as more people adopt it, it's going to prove itself even more. So I would say that this is the perfect time because you can do away with skepticism, you can do away with speculation, and actually see that this is a brand new asset class. Yes, it is something new, and people they are kind of drawn to things that they already know, things that they are used to. However, as a people, as a society, we have to evolve, and I feel like BlackRock, they're seeing that as well. Like, we're not always going to, people are not always going to be looking for stock investments. People are not always going to be looking for property investments. People are not always going to be investing in gold. We live in the digital age. We live with our phones in our hands, you know? So it just makes sense to actually have something that correlates to the way that we're progressing as a society. And it's Bitcoin.
Most people might say, okay, even though we are seeing big players in the game, coming on board, saying this and that, they don't still believe that Bitcoin is secure, is for something for them, or maybe it's just one of those Ponzi schemes out there.
Okay, yeah. So I mean, for the people who are skeptical about it, and they're not really sure about it. I mean, what are you? You have to ask yourself, what are you investing in? Currently, what do you actually, put your money in? Are you someone that's more into like property, or are you someone that's more into stocks? Or are you someone that doesn't really invest at all? So you have to kind of decide, what is your sort of risk appetite. And if you're not investing in anything, then I feel like cryptocurrency is a great way actually to kind of start investing, because it's so simple. You can literally just download an app on your phone and begin. You can download the app on your phone, link your bank account, do your KYC, depending on which platform you choose, and just buy £10 of Bitcoin, buy $10, or not financial advice, but just buy what you're not going to, money that you're not going to miss. I'm sure most people can do away with $10, to test out their financial future. And yeah, just buy it and see for yourself. Use the platform for itself. See how the charts move. For itself. And I'm telling you now, if you buy $10 now, and then as we're moving towards 2025, and we're speculating we're going to see a bull run, you're going to be happy. You're going to see those numbers going up, and you're going to get very excited, over the volatility, and you're going to say, oh, okay, what is this? Actually, this is a tool that can set me free financially. And I think that's what people need to recognize as well, is that it's something that is accessible for everyone. Bitcoin is, and cryptocurrency, it's for the people, because you can access it as long as you've got a mobile phone and internet connection. You can access it. You can access this huge, billion and trillion dollar crypto market. Just by tapping in to an app on your phone. So I would say, if you're still skeptical about Bitcoin, and you're still umming and ahhing, the CEO of the biggest financial investment firm in the world is bullish on Bitcoin. So, that should be an indication, why aren't you? And just buy $10 worth, just do it, and try it out for yourself. You don't want to be one of those that are left, once Bitcoin hits, those all-time highs. You don't want to be one of the ones that are left and are buying at the top, So now is the perfect time to give it a go.
If say you're not buying Bitcoin, you're not buying cryptocurrency at this point in time, then I don't actually know what you're doing. You are in the sideline, playing with your future. Tomorrow, your kids will ask you, "Daddy, mommy, when they were talking about this crypto stuff or stuff, where were you?" Where were you? So I think this is a moment that most people just need to say, okay, I can just buy Bitcoin just for $100. If said not for me, maybe for my kids, that the next 18 years, my newborn now, who is 2 years old, the next 18 years, maybe that's for my newborn. So I think with this, it's gonna be really helpful for most people to not only look at this as for them, alone, but it could be, what if this becomes something big in the future? I might give this to my kids. I might pass this out to my kids. And if say, like Larry Fink mentioned something that like the reason for that Bitcoin is hope, and the reason why BlackRock exists in the first place is to give people the opportunity to build something for their future. So it's more of a fund that you can be, an ETF that you can be part of, that can protect you long term, not only you but your kid. And if say you are able to buy a Bitcoin ETF, then I think to an extent you are, like, let's say you don't trust centralized exchanges. Right, you don't trust them. You don't want to buy your Bitcoin on Binance or on any DEX out there. But you can have this opportunity to buy it through an ETF. I know most crypto lovers are not happy with this aspect of cryptocurrency. That BlackRock is coming on board. They are thinking that maybe this is gonna be a way to manipulate or to try to destroy crypto. Do you buy that mindset that this is gonna be a way to destroy crypto?
No, I don't think so. I don't really think at this stage, crypto. I don't know if it is possible to kind of destroy crypto at this point. I think we're seeing it, even with Gary Gensler, where it's like, he's really pushing back on the whole crypto adoption. And, his peers are just saying, what are you doing? You are trying to destroy cryptocurrency for America, which is one of the biggest, financial institutions in terms of being a country. And they're saying, they can see what he's saying. They're like, it's not going to work. Like, they're really pushing back on him and pushing back on voices in the space that are trying to kind of destroy crypto in a way. And I think, they're kind of seeing that you can't really destroy it at this point. It is what it is. Like, if you're not getting on board, you're just going to miss out. If you're not going to board the crypto train, it's getting harder and harder to distinguish online what is real and what is fake. And actually, things like blockchain, it is immutable, and it locks it into the blockchain to say that this is the original creator, or this came from this source. So blockchain and AI, we've seen how fast AI is progressing. And then you actually see the CEO of ChatGPT. They've got millions of users in the first year. They've raised, just the other day, I think it was a Series C, they raised 115 million for a new project just to do the research and development of a platform that's going to use blockchain, AI, and cryptocurrency. So if the governments don't want to kind of get on board, they're going to miss out. Not just governments, people as well. So I think at this point, it's I think people are looking at people like Gary Gensler who are kind of like still trying to stop cryptocurrency, and you just look a bit foolish because it's like it's proven itself that this is something that's here to stay. Obviously, I know we had to still have these conversations because adoption is, just kind of slow at the moment. It's not completely mainstream, but people all over the world have heard of Bitcoin. People all over the world have heard of NFTs, and it's not going anywhere. So I just want people to get into their minds that Bitcoin is here to stay. It's not going to go to zero. I strongly believe that. I strongly believe it's not going to go to zero. It's here. It's a new technology that is here to stay. Just like our mobile phones, a few decades ago, mobile phones weren't a thing, and people, if you said to someone, "Oh, you're going to have mobile phones and social media," people wouldn't believe it, and they'd say, "Oh, that's not going to last," and things like that. Whereas now, it's like we need our phones, to do anything. So, and it's the same thing as Bitcoin. Yeah, it's the same thing. And it's going to help in so many ways. Things like the travel industry and things like that. Instead of having to go to exchanges and go and get your cash out, and go to a bureau of the exchange to do things like that, you can just have Bitcoin and you can just go to different countries and actually use it as a global currency that everyone accepts. That's really what I see for Bitcoin. It's going to be something that it's a peer-to-peer exchange. You can go to any country. Doesn't matter what kind of service they have, what kind of infrastructure they have, as long as they have a mobile phone and internet connection, they'll actually be able to trade with each other through cryptocurrency. So people can push back, but I feel like the pushback is just they're pushing themselves back and they're just going to miss the train.
Yeah, you're gonna miss the train, and you don't want to miss the train. So I think actually the future is bright, and anyone who don't want to miss the train should join on board. So that's why I think for our session next week we should dive more into NFTs, Web3. So I think you're gonna lecture us more about that NFTs, Web3, because I think we might be talking about Bitcoin, crypto, and so on. But the NFT space is huge, and I see more people coming on board, more retail investors coming on board crypto through NFT, and this is something powerful because NFT is something that everyone in the world can relate to or can use for their advantage, whether you love crypto or not. NFT is going to empower you, add more value to your business, make you become more independent, make you to target your, like, to focus more on the people that provide you the value, right? So I think this is something that we can, dedicate a show just for that, like talk about NFT. We can discuss like the different platforms out there. We can also talk about more, like go digitally about your NFTs, talk about the future. So I think with these other creators and other small businesses can learn how they can integrate NFT into their day-to-day activities. So what do you think about that?
Yeah, absolutely. I love NFTs. I think NFTs are like the fun side of crypto and blockchain. It's kind of like the social media side, I guess, of like of cryptocurrency is the social side of it, whereas like Bitcoin and things like that, cryptocurrency is more of like the financial aspects of it. So I feel like everything has in cryptocurrency has its own niche, has its own market, has its own
And
audience. I think
you are the
NFT is
queen of
quite
NFT and
accessible
Web
to a lot of
three.
people. I'll take it. I'll take that title. Yeah, sure. I'm looking at NFTs. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I like playing NFTs. I like minting NFTs. All my WCF crypto, all my WCF crypto articles are minted as NFTs. I have courses on BitDegree about creating NFTs, minting them, and actually how you can create one yourself, and creating ones that have utility as well. Because I think a lot of people, you see things like Bored Apes and CryptoPunks, and people are saying, "Oh, what is this? This is just a JPEG. I can just screenshot it and use it," but they don't really understand like the underlying technology behind it, and they don't actually understand things like utility, because a lot of these PFPs didn't really have utility. These PFP profile picture projects, we call them. And I think now it's kind of like educating people on how to use NFTs in a way that actually have utility, such as fractionalization, just unlocking exclusive content, actually being able to collaborate with some of these NFTs as well, and adding your own twist and style. You've even got things like music NFTs, which if adopted would be hugely disruptive to the music industry in terms of like how royalties work and how artists would be paid. You've got gaming as well, so assets, in-game assets, people buying skins and things like that. They become NFTs on these mainstream games. That's going to hugely disrupt that industry as well, and it's going to completely change how we see things like in-game assets. They're going to become more tangible and in a way a bit more real. And you see companies like Sony, they've already filed their patents to actually be able to create NFTs in their games, cross-chain ones as well. So there's a lot of exciting things going around in the space of NFTs. It is more of a kind of a builder's market at the moment in terms of people innovating and creating and trying to get more utility into NFTs. And see how it's going to work. But yeah, once that takes off, especially for things like GameFi and music NFT, it's going to be huge. So you should definitely, I think you should definitely learn how to actually be able to create an NFT yourself, because that's going to be a really powerful tool in the future when mainstream adoption takes off heavily.
So you promise to teach us, to give us more knowledge next week about NFT. So after next week's show, we're gonna be able to mint our own NFT. All right, guys.
Absolutely, I think that would be great.
Yeah. All right, guys. I mean, it's always amazing to have Lore here. As I mentioned, we're gonna be having this session with you guys, and make sure you follow Lore on YouTube. Follow her also on Instagram, she's on TikTok. She's everywhere. Right. I'm gonna make sure I drop her link, at the description of this video, so that you guys can connect with her. And if say you don't know her, she's a blockchain specialist. She help businesses and people to be successful in the crypto space. And not only that, she has written a book, The God's Eye. So make sure you like check on her social media. There's so much about her that maybe we are talking about only crypto. You might think that she's limited just to crypto, but there's so much. She's more of mindset. She's more of prosperity. She's more of you building that environment around yourself. That you connect with nature. You connect with that the force. That what do they say? That there's that force that whenever you connect yourself with, it's gonna like give you the success you need. People think that at times it's just only about you, praying that I want to be successful, but you need to believe you're successful and connect with that energy. So, Lore, as I've been going through your stuff, I've been like peeping on your stuff and like, okay, what is she really all about apart from crypto? And I've discovered amazing stuff that I think in the future we're gonna be having different conversations on this aspect. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I do. I do say I'm a devotee to spirituality. I feel like I'm very in tune, and I have a great relationship, with God and the universe. And I was inspired to write a book. It's called How to Manifest Like a God. And it talks about like all different aspects of actually like getting what you want. So I work with a lot of startups and helping people to actually realize their dreams. And I think that actually, in a way, cryptocurrency and NFTs and things like that, in terms of how it fits in with the progression of humanity and evolution at the moment, it really fits in because we moved into a new age. It's called the Aquarius age. So you probably remember the songs about this is the dawning of the age of Aquarius and these kind of songs. And actually, at the time when NFTs were really getting heavy, I think 2021, that's when there was actually December 21st, I think people talking about that, but there was a heavy shift into the Aquarian age, and that's when we started to see like blockchain technology really taking off. And the Aquarius age is all about, it's all about decentralization, it's all about liberation, it's all about coming together with people, like seeing people transparently, and also technology. It's also about using technology and new technology. So the fact that we're seeing this new technology coming about, which is decentralized, it's all about peer-to-peer, it fits in perfectly with what is prophesized about how we're moving as a humanity. So yeah, I've got those insights as well.
Yeah. Well, guys, it was amazing to have Laura here. Again, as usual, I've seen one comment. She's a great analyst. Yeah, she's a great analyst, and I love the way she approach the space. Her comments are really valuable, and I believe that as we keep having more of such sessions, we're gonna learn a lot. And the idea of this program, guys, is to actually connect with each other, be able to be there for each other, help each other be successful in this space. Crypto have given us an opportunity, but there's life out of crypto. So be having more sessions like this that we can present to you guys different aspects that can help you not only make money in investing in cryptocurrency, but you're living like connecting with the universe, be yourself, be real with yourself, and while you enjoy the world that you're gonna make, you're gonna make with cryptocurrency or investing in cryptocurrency. All right, guys, see you in the next session. Bye bye.